Hi, today I decided to talk about ways that you can communicate with spirits. And the reason that I'm doing this video is to hopefully help some of you that maybe would like to learn more about spirit communication and find a way to try to communicate with beings that don't reside in our plane. Although I don't recommend this type of practice for beginner practitioners because I think that before you start practicing more advanced workings, you should be able to perform the basics first, which are centering, grounding, energy manipulation, visualization, then maybe start with cleansing and protection workings. And all these things are going to help you to stay safe while practicing. But there is nothing wrong in being curious, and you still might find this video interesting if you want to know how practitioners communicate with spirits. Please always cross-reference information and don't believe the first thing you see or hear. We all have different opinions based on our experiences and sources of information that we learn from. Use your intuition and critical thinking in your magical journey. So why would you want to communicate with spirits or other beings? There are many reasons as to why a practitioner might want to communicate with spirits. It could be to gain information that for us is hard to obtain on this plane, to build a relationship, to ask assistance in your magical workings, and so on. I would like to point out that there are practitioners that spend their entire life without encountering any spirits or entities, and there is nothing wrong with that. So if you don't feel like working with any kind of entities, you really don't have to in order to be a witch. So I'm gonna start with the first method, which is divination. Divination is the art of interpreting signs and symbols in order to gain knowledge about the unknown. It is a very ancient practice that is still used today. You can definitely use divination to contact spirits or other beings such as deities, spirit guides, familiar spirits, angels, and other entities that you might want to work with. Obviously, there are so many types of divination that I'm not able to get through all of them in this video, but here are a few of them. Divination using tarot cards. There are many tarot cards available for every budget and easy to find. I would recommend getting a Rider-Waite deck if you are new to tarot, because many other decks are based on this deck. There are many different types of spreads. I personally use my intuition, but I also get inspiration from books such as the Book of Seance. You can find in this book spreads that are designed to be used when communicating with spirits. I will do a review on the book as well. I just didn't finish reading it yet. Because I have a lot to cover in this video, I cannot give you a step-by-step process on how to use tarot, but you can start learning the definitions of each card, then maybe start with small spreads because a bigger one could be overwhelming. And when you feel ready, you can use them to communicate with spirits. Casting divination. You can use different types of runes or animal bones if you are comfortable working with them, although please don't sacrifice animals for this, and if you decide to buy animal bones, please make sure that it is ethically sourced and you might want to connect with the animal spirit as well and see if they are okay with you using their bones for divination purposes. So casting is the act of sorting or shuffling items and either choosing or distributing them at random in order to receive an answer. If this seems interesting to you, you can find books or videos on YouTube on this subject to learn how to use runes for divination purposes. Scrying. Scrying is seeing something revealed on the surface of another thing. You can use black mirrors, different types of crystals, even a simple black sheet, and so on. Tools are usually used as something to stare at while you are trying to relax and calm your mind, as if you would try to meditate in order to be able to see messages in whatever you are looking at. Using a pendulum. Pendulums can be used as well to communicate with spirits. You can call a pendulum anything that has a bit of weight attached at the end of a string. It doesn't have to be a crystal, some people will even use rings. It can be made from wood or metals, and you can choose whatever suits best you and your practice. So the way it works is that you would give a spirit permission to take control over your pendulum so that he can give you a response. A pendulum can swing back and forth, left to right, or in a circle, and each movement can be associated with a response such as yes or no. And this you can ask the pendulum itself or just use your intuition to determine which one is which. Spirit boards. You've probably seen many times a spirit board, which is also known as a talking board or a Ouija in many movies. This is a very famous tool, most feared and most misunderstood. For those of you who is not familiar with it, it's usually a cardboard with letters and numbers printed on, accompanied with the words yes, no and goodbye. It seems that it stems from automatic writing, but no one really seemed to know the true origin of the spirit board. However, in 1891, ads began appearing in newspapers and people would buy spirit boards to avoid hiring a medium, as it was a quick and cost-efficient way to contact the dead. Dreams and astral projection. Dreaming is a common way to get messages from your deities, angel spirits, familiar spirits, and so on, because at this stage you are very relaxed and most susceptible of receiving messages, and for the spirits it's easier to contact you in your dreams. If you don't remember your dreams, you can start by creating a journal where you keep notes of your dreams. Write down everything you remember each time you wake up, even if it is only a color, and in time you will get better at remembering your dreams, as this is a way to program your brain and let him know that you would like to remember your dreams. You can also ask out loud or write on a piece of paper and burn it with the intention to send a message asking the spirit to give you the answer in your dream. Astral projection is when your consciousness leaves your physical body into the astral plane, where you can meet spirits or other beings that reside outside our physical plane. To practice astral projection, you can find books on these topics as well as guided meditation on YouTube. You are basically relaxing your body to learn how to calm your mind and control your thoughts until you are able to exit your physical body. It's easier said than done, of course. For some people it is done easy, and some of us have to practice more before getting results, and it's absolutely normal. Psychic abilities. You can use specific abilities such as clairs to gather information. There are many types of clairs, such as clairvoyance, which is clear seeing. Developing this ability will allow you to receive images or symbols in your mind's eye, or physically see spirits and other entities in our physical plane. Clairaudience is clear hearing or psychic hearing. You can hear messages from spirits or entities in the form of sounds, voices, or even music. Some hear these voices outside their mind and some hear them inside their mind, like when you are reading a book, except those words don't belong to you. Clairsentience is clear sensing or psychic sensing. It's when messages from the spirits come as feelings or thoughts. The difference is that those feelings and thoughts are not yours. A really great book is Psychic Witch. It's an amazing book, especially for beginners, because it covers the basic practices as well. Meditation. You can also communicate with spirits during meditation, because when we meditate, we are changing our brainwave state. There are 5 main brainwave types that our brain produces. Gamma often comes in brief moments of heightened awareness and insight. Beta is the brainwave frequency we spend most of our day with. When we are awake, when we focus on tasks, we are active thinking, and so on. Alpha is the state we are in when we are closing our eyes but not asleep yet. We become calm and introspective. Theta is the state we are in when we meditate. We are still alert but more relaxed than when we are in alpha brainwave state. In Delta, when we are in a deep sleep. And you already guessed, we can communicate with spirits and beings in Theta brainwave state. You can also find more on this topic in the book Psychic Witch. Bibliomancy. Bibliomancy is to divine the future from a book. Any book can be used for this type of divination. A question is asked and then a page or a specific line is chosen and read to obtain the answer. Tasseography is another type of divination that can be used to communicate with spirits. Tea leaf reading is a type of scrying, but because it's so complex, it has its own category. It originally comes from Turkey, but instead of reading tea leaves, they read coffee grounds, which is a practice still used to this day. When tea became the drink of choice in Western world, the existing divinatory systems would be altered to fit the new medium. So you would basically prepare and drink the tea with a question in mind. It's best if you are doing it when you are calm, trying to focus on your intention when preparing and drinking the tea. Of course, using some type of loose tea, not the one that comes in little bags. And the reason for that is for you to be able to read the symbols that are left on the bottom of the teacup and interpret them. Last but not least, automatic writing. During automatic writing, ideas and thoughts are believed to be telepathically communicated from a spirit through the writer onto the paper. Some people, instead of writing, will draw, sketch, or paint. The way you do it is by starting to relax your mind. It could be compared to when you are talking on the phone, and if you have a pen and a piece of paper around, you will start to doodle. So you relax yourself in order to allow messages from a spirit to come through while you are writing, but you don't focus on the writing and allow your hand to write whatever it feels like and not looking directly on the paper. And it could be tricky a bit at first because you don't really know if the messages are coming from the spirits or from you. But with practice, you will get to a point when you will be able to determine whether the thoughts or messages are yours or not. Again, keep in mind that this is an introduction to a few ways that you can communicate with spirits and not an in-depth video on all these subjects. Let me know if you would like me to do a separate video on any of the subjects. Of course, there are so many other different ways to communicate with spirits, but it would be hard, if not impossible, for me to mention all of them in one video. Please stay safe and make sure you know how to defend yourself if something goes wrong. This is not to say that all entities are harmful, it's just me telling you to better be extra prepared than getting in a situation you don't know how to get out of. If you don't trust every person you encounter, then you should be careful when it comes to spirits as well. There is another great book I would recommend, which is Consorting with Spirits by Jason Miller. All three books will be linked in my description box if you would like to check them out. I will be making a book review for all three of them very soon. Let me know what is your favorite way to communicate with spirits and other beings. If you have any video ideas, feel free to let me know in the comments down below. If you would like to join our small family, you can subscribe. That would mean a lot to me. Be always kind and see you in my next one.